Okay. All right, we got the dogs, we got our mats, all things good. All right, so we're gonna start down on our backs in constructive rest, if you like constructive rest. So step your feet nice and wide to the outer edges of your mat, let your knees drop in towards each other, and then just give a second to kind of settle in. And wherever your arms feel the most comfortable. So maybe an anatomical position, maybe you let them rest on your belly, really whatever feels the best to you right now. Just take a second to find your way there. Work out all your little wiggles. And then just allow a moment or two here for your breath to settle you into your mat. Inviting a slower, gentler breath into your body. And then as your body starts to settle in, maybe tune in and just send your awareness down to your feet. Notice your toes, notice the bottoms of your feet, notice the tops of your feet, and just, are you holding tension or gripping in your toes or your feet? Can you let your toes and your feet soften? And then just get a sense of, how do your feet feel this morning? And then as you encourage and invite that sense of softness or gentleness into your feet, feel the ground underneath your feet. Get that sense of that solid position underneath you. And then see if you can let your awareness travel up to your ankles and just maybe notice how are your ankles feeling this morning. Is anything there calling attention to them? And then let your awareness travel up to your calves and your shins. Notice, are you gripping or holding any tension in your calves or your shins? Can you let them soften? Can you let that softness travel down to your ankles and your feet? And then see if you can take your awareness up to your knees and start by maybe noticing just the space between your knees where they're touching. So if you're in that constructive rest position and your knees are touching each other, can you tune in and notice that space? Maybe you'll notice a sense of warmth there, or just a sense of touch. And then you maybe can come to the idea of the weight of your legs just resting against each other. Can you get that sense of the solidness of your legs, the solidness of your bones in your knees? And then can you let your awareness come to the back sides of your knees? So with your knees in a bent position, you might notice there's a little bit of warmth between the back space of your knees. Can you invite some softness in there? And now maybe let your awareness travel to the tops of your thighs. And then just notice the tops of your thighs. So the thighs have these nice big warm muscles. So maybe you can just tune in and get a sense of the warmth of the muscles in your thighs. And then can you invite a sense of soft heaviness into your thighs? Soften the muscles, soften the fatty tissue, soften the skin around your thighs, and then let that soft heaviness kind of find its way down to your hips. And then as you let your awareness come down to your hips, notice, are you holding tension in your hips? Are you holding tension in your butt? Can you let that go? Can you let that soften? And then just for a moment, staying with that awareness in the hips and the pelvic region, can you just tune in and notice your breath and notice the breath in your pelvic floor. So take a nice, generous inhale, tuning into the hip area. And then as you exhale, can you just get that sense of that little muscular drawing up that happens right at the pelvic floor? Inhale, a nice, gentle breath. Exhale and find that drawing up sensation. Take one more moment there, just bringing your awareness to your hips and your pelvic floor. And then see if you can let your awareness travel up a little further. So maybe now noticing your belly button, and that softer tissue that's unprotected by your bones. So can you just tune into that soft area of your belly, and then just maybe notice the gentle movement of breath in the soft tissue there. Take one more breath, just tuning in and noticing the soft area of your belly. And then from here, if it feels available, you're going to bring your hands to your ribs. So whichever way you like to hold on to your ribs. So you might just find right hand to right ribs, left hand to left ribs, or you might like a little crisscross of your arms, whatever gets you there, just allowing your hands to rest comfortably on your ribs. So a little spread of the fingers and a light touch to your hands. And then see if you can just kind of invite some softness back into your shoulders so you're not making too much tension up in the upper body. And then once you feel like you've got a handhold on your ribs, start to tune in and just notice, without forcing or changing the breath, just notice the physical action of breath underneath your hands. And then maybe just keeping your hands where they are, but moving away from that awareness of breath. And then just notice the touch of your hands. You might notice the fabric of your clothes underneath your hands. You might notice that sense of warmth in the space between your hands and your ribs. And then keeping with that awareness in your hands, now just see if you can notice and tune into the top side of your hands. So the part of your hands that might be exposed to the air. And then can you notice just the coolness or the temperature of the air on your skin? Notice if you're gripping or holding tension in your hands or in your wrists, can you invite a sense of softness in there? And then can you let your awareness travel up to your forearms? So with your hands on your ribs, maybe the bottom side of your forearms is just free, not touching anything in particular. Can you notice the air on your skin there? And then can you let your awareness come down to your elbows? And elbows might be settled heavily on the ground. So now can you tune back in to that nice solid structure of the earth or the ground beneath you? And then can you move that line of awareness up into your shoulders, noticing the tops of your shoulders, so your shoulder heads, maybe noticing the back sides of your shoulders and your shoulder blades. And can you get a sense of the floor or the ground beneath you? And then can you tune in and notice the breath up in your shoulders, or the physical action of breath up in your shoulders? And then just inviting a little bit of patience in as we just finish up our exploration of breath. So if you can, tune in and notice the backside of your neck. So your back of your neck might not be touching the floor. It might just, depending on the variations of the neck. And then as you notice that little bit of space or connection, whichever the case may be in the variations of our own bodies, can you take a nice big breath in and just kind of notice the breath in your neck and your throat and a little bit of a softness in the back of your neck as you exhale. And then can you move your awareness up to the back of your skull? So where the back of your head is resting on the ground, and notice that solidness, that weight of your head on the ground. And with that sense of solidness, that nice heaviness of your head, can you invite a little softness in? Soften through your ears, the back of your neck, soften what little muscles are helped connect to the back of your head. Can you invite some softness in there? And then with that sense of softness, float your arms up into a cactus or goalpost position. And then right away, let your arms, your elbows, and your hands get nice and heavy. And then still staying connected to that space in the back of your head, slowly and mindfully turn your head side to side. So maybe you're moving at a centimeter side to side to start. Really small, really gentle, really mindful. And then even with that small, tiny bit of movement, did that invite any tension into your body? Did it bring tension into your chest, into your throat, into your hands, into your jaw? Maybe even tension down into your hips or your feet. So just tune in for a moment and notice if that gentle bit of movement moved any tension somewhere else in your body. And then can you invite a sense of softness back in? And then if you found that greater sense of softness, then invite a bigger turn of the head side to side, moving at a safe range of motion, just making sure your head and your neck feel comfortable. Keeping a soft gentleness in your hands and your fingers, in your arms and your armpit chest. Cool. And then the next time your head turns to the right, let it turn as far as it would like to go. Pause there for a moment with your head turned to the right and take a nice big breath. And then on your next inhale, bring your head back to center. And then when you're ready, turn your head to the left just as far as it would like to go. Pause there for a second, invite some softness back in, and then take a nice big breath. Nice. And then on your next inhale, bring your head back to center, and then bringing our arms up into our I Dream of Genie arms, or that nice square across the chest, and then start to pull your elbows side to side. Slow or big, or as big or small movement, that'll be totally up to you. And then go as fast or as slow as you like. So find a pace and a rhythm and a depth of work that feels good to you, and see if you can just start to tune in and notice. Notice the back side of your body connected to the floor. Maybe notice the change of breath as you start to get a little bit more active in your body. Take one more pull of the elbows side to side. And then if you like, we're going to add the legs as well. So as your elbows pull in one direction, knees are going to drop in the opposite direction. Everything meets in the middle, and then take it over to the other side. So you're going to slow that down to find a rhythm. And then once you feel like you've found it, you're going to find a pace that feels right to you. Elbows and knees dropping in opposite direction of each other. And then if you like, add your head as well. So your head might choose to follow your elbows, or your head might choose to follow your knees. That'll be totally up to you, whichever feels like a better rhythm to you. But take a few more times side to side, just allowing the body to gently wake up, letting the central nervous system come on board. Nice. Take one more time each side, or even yourself out. And then as you bring it back to center, you're going to release your handhold from your elbows. Let your hands just come down alongside your body, and then walk your feet in. So feet are about hip width distance apart. And then just take a second, readjust your tailbone, readjust anything that you need to. But then before we move from this place, pause for a moment, set an intention to honor your mind and your body throughout your practice, never doing anything in your practice that would cause your body pain, and treating yourself with love, care, and respect. And then with that intention set, with your hands nice and firm on the ground, feet nice and firm on the ground, move right into a pelvic tilt. As you exhale, press your low back into the ground, a little tilt to the pelvis, tailbone curls up, and you might feel an engagement in your quadriceps. And then inhale, release, find the natural curve of your back. Exhale as you press your low back down. Inhale to release. So it's a small, gentle, mindful movement. It's not a big arch of the back. We're just taking it back to the natural curved position of the spine. Exhale as you press the low back down. Inhale to release. And then once you've got that motion down and it becomes a little bit more automatic, like you don't have to think about the tilting of the pelvis, now can you tune in and bring some awareness to your breath? So as you exhale and press the low back down, can you notice that little pulling up or that squeeze from the pelvic floor? And then as you inhale, can you find a little release of the abdominal muscles? Take 2 more cycles of breath here. And then when you're ready, find a neutral spine. We're going to pick the right knee up, draw it up towards the chest, maybe take a handhold of the kneecap and draw your knee in circles. Let your arms do most of the work here. So invite a sense of loose softness into the muscle tissue of your leg and into your glutes, and let your arms help move your leg around. And then if it feels good to do so, switch directions and go the other way. Nice. And then we're going to switch our handhold. So we're going to reach behind the back of your thigh. Maybe you'll interlace your fingers there and then invite a softness back in. So let your leg get kind of heavy towards your chest and then just tune in and notice your foot and your ankle. So with that different handhold, holding onto the back of the thigh, just bring a little point and flex to your foot. Nice. And then if it feels good to do so, circle your foot in one direction. And then circle your foot the other way. Great, and then let your foot come to stillness and then push your thigh forward. So we're gonna keep a handhold on the back of the thigh, but with a light sense of looseness. And then we're just gonna bend and straighten the leg just to a depth that feels good. So we just wanna start to find a little hinge from the knee, noticing how your knee joint is feeling, being gentle and mindful. If there's anything going on here, you'll make sure that you're being super aware and super mindful throughout the rest of your practice. And then maybe you tune in and notice how is the back of your leg feeling. So with that bend and straighten, you might already get a sense of your hamstring muscles. And then we just want to make sure that we're not feeling any sensation down into the butt. So if you're pushing so hard against that hamstring that you're bringing it a little zing down into your butt, loosen everything else up. Awesome. Take one more bend and straighten up that leg. And then release your handhold from the back of the thigh, grab the kneecap or the shin, hug the knee into your chest, take a nice big breath. Notice that little compression against your belly or your chest. Awesome. And then gently release, and we're going to take it to the other side. So we're going to take hold of the left knee and then let your arms do most of the work here. Draw your knee in circles, go in one direction. Beautiful. And then draw your knee in circles, go the other way. Nice. And then find a neutral position. And we're going to switch our handhold. So we're going to interlace the fingers behind the back of the thigh and then soften. Let the knee kind of drop towards the chest with not much efforting in the knee or the thigh. Bring a little point and flex to the left foot. Cool. And then if it feels good to do so, circle your foot in one direction. And then circle your foot the other way. Nice. And then let your foot come to a stillness. Push your thigh forward, still keeping a nice good handhold on the back of the thigh, and then start to find that hinge from the knee, lifting your foot up towards the ceiling and then lowering it back down. And then just tuning in and noticing, how's your knee feeling? How's the back of your leg feeling? Loosen up anything that you need to, and make sure that you're not bringing any zinging sensation down into your butt. Beautiful. One more bend and straighten up that leg, and then releasing your hold from the back of the thigh. Maybe grab the knee or the top of the shin, hug your leg in towards your chest. Feel that little bit of compression against your belly. Take a nice big breath. Nice slow breath out. Cool. And then taking the hold of both knees. So pull your right knee into your chest, both knees, take a little rock side to side. Awesome. And then we're going to take it into a bigger motion here. So just turn your head a little to the left and a little to the right. Just make sure that you have a little bit of room to move. If you're in a confined space and there's not a lot of room, you're going to stay in the smaller range of motion. But if it feels good to do so, you're going to take some big rocks side to side, rolling all the way across your back, rolling onto one side, and then taking it over to the other side. So you're going to go as big or as small as your space and your body allows. But it should be a comfortable movement. It should feel good on the back, and it should feel good on the knees and the hips. So if anything isn't feeling good, you're going to make it a smaller range of motion and make sure you're staying safe and comfortable in your body. Awesome. Take one more roll side to side or even yourself out. And then as you bring it back to center, you're going to bring those knees in for one last little hug or squeeze. And then we're going to start to rock and roll our way up into a seated or ragdoll position. So rocking from tailbone to top of head, or rolling over to one side if that feels like a better way to get there. Sit yourself on up, and then with your feet about hip or shoulder width distance apart, a super generous bend in the knees, wiggle into your sits bones, and then soften over. Just fold over your legs. Let your hands catch hold of your toes or the floor or your shins, whatever feels good there. And then invite a sense of softness into the back of your body. So soften your low back. Tune in and notice the back side of your ribs. Take a nice big breath. With each exhale, can you let your head get just a little bit heavier, softening through the back of your neck? Take one more breath. Nice. And then when you're ready, slowly walk yourself up. We're going to walk our knees in so that our knees are bent, and we're going to catch hold of the kneecaps or the shins and move right into a cat and cow here. Inhale as you lift your chest, squeeze your shoulder blades. Exhale as you round your back and tuck your chin into your chest. Inhale as you lift your heart. Exhale as you round. Inhale to lift. Exhale to round. Awesome. 2 more cycles of breath here. Just move with your breath's rhythm. Beautiful. And then the next time you find your way into that exhale with that rounded back, can you hang out here? Hold on nice and firm to your knees or your shins. Let your shoulders get nice and heavy back, and then feel that little pull between the shoulder blades. Take a nice big breath into that space. Nice slow breath out. Awesome. And then gently lift yourself up, and we're going to swing our legs out to one side. So think zigzag position or mermaid seat. So one leg bent out in front of you, one leg bent out to the side, but really any other seat that allows you to kind of sit up tall and your hips are fairly evenly weighted on the ground. So if you need to rearrange your seat, we're going to take it into some side bends. So you do the position with your legs and your feet that feel the best. Once you've found a good position with the legs, if you're in that zigzag seat, the leg that's off to the side, let that hand find the floor or the shin, and then reach your other hand up and just take a nice big side bend. Tune in and notice the side of your ribs, the side of your body, and maybe even notice your armpit and your shoulders. Take a nice big breath. Awesome. Lift up, and then we're going to take a little rotation. So both hands are going to rotate over to the other side. Bend your elbows, lean your heart forward just a little bit, and then push the floor away from you, re-rotate to the other side, hand touches down, and come back to that side bend. Nice. And now we're going to get a little fluid here with that motion. So we're going to release. Hands are going to find the side of the floor. Bend your elbows, lean your heart forward. Push your way back up. Rotate, hand finds the floor. Add your side bend. Awesome. One more time on this side. Rotate, hands find the floor. Bend your elbows, lean your heart forward. Push into the floor, lift up, rotate, and find that side bend. Beautiful. And then release. And then we're going to lean back into the sits bones. And if you can, just swing your legs around or rearrange your seat in a way that works best for you, but take a second to find your way there. And then once you feel like you're comfortable, hand comes out to the side, nice big side bend, and then just pause there for a moment. Notice the side of your body, the ribs, your armpit and your shoulders, and take a nice big breath. Cool. And then when you're ready, release. Rotate, both hands find the floor, bend your elbows, lean your heart forward. Awesome. Lift yourself up. Hand touches down, add that side bend. Beautiful. Rotate, hands find the floor, bend your elbows, lean your heart forward. Push your way back up. Hand finds the floor, add that side bend. Nice. One more time here. Rotate, hands find the floor, bend your elbows, lean your heart forward. Beautiful. Push your way up, hand finds the floor, take that side bend. Nice. And then release both hands to the ground. Swing your legs out in front of you with a super generous bend in the knees and just take a couple of windshield wipers here. Invite some fluid back into your hips and a little bit of looseness back into your knees. Beautiful. One more switch of those knees side to side. Then we're going to take it into cobbler's pose or Baddha Konasana. So soles of the feet together, knees out to the left and to the right. And your diamond shape of your legs might be different. So you might have a super wide diamond. You might have a super close diamond. That'll be totally up to you. All those little variations of our knees and our hips. So just take a second to find your butterfly or your cobbler's pose, soles of the feet together, knees out to the left and to the right. And then once you found your way there, lean your heart forward just a little bit. Make sure you're not feeling anything in the low back that doesn't feel good. Lift yourself right back up. Lean your heart forward just a little bit. And then lift yourself right back up. Beautiful. One more just like that. Lean yourself forward just a little bit. Lift yourself right back up and then grab the outsides of your thighs, help your knees to come together. And we're going to spin it around into a tabletop position. So coming onto all fours. And now here, if you need to double stack your mat, put a little cushion, a little blanket, a little towel, anything under your knees so that it feels good and protected, take a moment to do that for yourself. And then once you're in your tabletop position, we're going to curl both sets of toes under and just take a few rocks forward and back. Pull your butt back to your heels and bring your shoulders back in line with the wrists. Beautiful. One more rock forward and back here. And then in that tabletop position, release your toes and move right into a puppy pose. So walk your hands towards the top edge of your mat and let your chest and your forehead drop down. And take one more breath here. And then from here, we're going to take it back into an extended child's pose. So big toes together, knees to the outer edges of your mat. But if you're working from the backside or sitting down on the floor, either you're going to sit up here and pull the knees up to the chest and keep a wide position with the knees, or if you're down on your back, you're just going to take it into a sort of semi-happy baby position with your knees nice and wide out to your shoulders. If you're flipped around in your tabletop position, big toes together, knees super wide, pull your butt back to your heels, let your belly, your chest, and your forehead soften down, and take about 3 nice deep breaths here. Beautiful. Take one more breath. And then when you're ready, slowly, gently, mindfully lift yourself back up into tabletop position. If your knees were wide, walk them in. Curl your toes under and exhale, find your way up to a downward facing dog. Once you're in downward facing dog, start to pedal out the legs. Bend one knee and press into the opposite heel and just notice. Notice your Achilles heel. Notice your calf. Notice the backs of your knees. Notice the backs of your thighs. Notice your wrists and your shoulders. And then when you feel good and ready, we're going to take it up into a ragdoll fold standing at the top of the mat. So walk your feet up to meet your hands, come into a little folded position, feet about hip or shoulder width distance apart, make some space for yourself here. Let your head drop down, let your arms be nice and heavy. If it feels good, grab your elbows and let gravity do a little work for you. Take one more breath. Beautiful. Relax your fingers towards the ground. Bend your knees a lot. Pull your abdominal muscles in. Strong from your navel center. Lift yourself up with control. And then as you come on up, just give a second to let everything get situated. Come to standing, shake everything out that you need to, and then find a mountain pose at the top of your mat. So feet about hip or shoulder distance apart, toes and knees pointing fairly forward, hips pointing fairly forward, shoulders down and back, a little energy down into your fingertips. And then just find this nice lifting up sensation, lifting up through the crown of your head. Take a nice deep breath in. Nice slow breath out. On your next inhale, just let your toes lift away from the floor and spread your toes. And then as you exhale, keep your toes spread, but let them soften down to the earth. Inhale, lift your toes, let your toes spread. Keep your toes spread, exhale, soften your toes down. One more just like that. Inhale and lift your toes. Exhale, soften your toes down, and we'll take it into your heels. Inhale, lift your heels up away from the floor. Exhale and soften down. Go only as far and as high as you can control. Inhale, lift your heels up. Exhale and lower down. Beautiful. One more time, just like that. Inhale, lift your heels up. Exhale and lower down. Nice. Hands to your hips. We're going to step the right foot back and we're going to find our way into a warrior one position from standing. So you're going to soften your knees just a little bit. Step your right leg back, and then heel's going to drop down to the ground. Toes are going to turn about 45 degrees. So once you found that position, rotate your hips so they're both facing towards the top edge of your mat, fairly so, and just make sure that doesn't do anything funky to the hip or funky to that back knee. You always have the option to pick up that back heel if that feels like a better position for your knee or your hip. Once you've found your way there, inhale, raise your arms up, look up towards the sky, take a nice big breath in. Take a moment to tune into your feet. Notice your feet nice and solidly anchored on the floor. Let your left hand come down and touch the hip, and then we're going to lean over to the left, take a little side bend. Beautiful. Lift it back up. Left hand's going to reach up to the sky, look up, take a nice big breath, and then take your right hand, reach back, find the back of your thigh, lift from your left hand to look up to the sky. Beautiful. And then spin both hands to your hips. We're going to pivot that back heel so that back heel picks up, and then hop that foot forward. Take a second to just bounce out your knees. And then we're going to do that to the other side. So with your hands on your hips, nice and firmly anchored on the ground, step your left leg back, find a good comfortable position, heel down, toes turned out if that feels like a way to go. And then pull that right hip crease back, left hip forward, bend that front knee, raise your arms up and look up. Check in with that back leg and just make sure it feels comfortable. If you need to pick up your heel, do that so it feels really good. Right hand is going to find the hip. Left hand's going to lift up and lean over to the right. Take a little side bend. Beautiful. Lift it back up. Both hands up to the sky. Left hand's going to touch the back of the thigh. Right hand's going to reach up, look up towards the ceiling. Beautiful. Reach both arms up to the sky. And then when you're ready, hands are going to find the hips, pivot that back heel so it picks up, and then step that foot up to the top of your mat. Nice. And then find your mountain pose again here. Inhale, reach up and grab that imaginary beach ball above your head. Exhale, sink into a little chair. So you're going to bring your weight back into your heels just a little bit. So weight is in the balls of the feet and the heels. So it's a little bit evenly distributed between your feet. And then see if you can just draw your tailbone down slightly. So you feel nice engagement in your center and your solar plexus. Pulling your hip bones in towards each other so we feel that nice solidness in the low belly. Take one more breath. On your next inhale, rise up nice and slow. As you exhale, cactus your arms, open your chest, look to the sky. Beautiful. And then release, hands behind the back. Interlace the fingers, draw the knuckles down. Pull the arms slightly away from the back of your body so we get a little opening in the chest. Lift your chin up to the sky. Take a nice big breath. Beautiful. And then relax your hands towards your low back. Unlace your fingers. find your way back into your mountain pose. And now from here, we're going to pick up the pace just a little bit and get a little bit more flowy. So you just do the version that works best for you, leaving off anything that's not going to work for your body this morning. Inhale, arms up and look up. Exhale, bend your knees, fold all the way down. Inhale to a half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, step the right leg back, warrior one, step the foot back, drop the heel down, turn the toes out. Hips stay facing forward. Inhale, lift yourself up. Beautiful. Take that back hand to the back thigh, lift through the left hand, look to the sky. Nice. And then we're going to spin the hands forward, bringing them straight out in front of the chest. And we're going to interlace the fingers and get that little Charlie's Angel mudra. So interlace fingers, pointers forward. Once you found your way there, you're going to start to shift your weight forward into that standing leg. Pop that back leg up. Just get a little lift through the back of the leg. Awesome. And then step it into your mountain pose. Hands come down at your sides. Beautiful. Inhale, arms up and look up. Exhale, bend your knees and fold. Inhale to a half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, left leg back, warrior one to the other side. Drop the heel down, toes turn out, hips stay facing forward. Inhale, raise your arms up. Beautiful. Left hand's going to reach back, touch that thigh. Right hand reaches up, look to the sky. And then release both hands in front of the chest. Interlace the fingers, Charlie's Angel Mudra. Get the temple mudra, pointers forward. Shift your weight into that front standing leg. Slide yourself forward and then just pick that back leg up slightly off the ground. Beautiful. And then step it in back to your mountain pose. Nice. Inhale, reach up and grab that imaginary beach ball. Exhale, sink into a little chair. Inhale and rise up. Exhale, cactus your arms, open your chest. Inhale, reach up to the sky. Exhale, bend your knees, fold all the way down to the ground. Inhale to a half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, step both feet back to downward facing dog. Bring yourself forward into a plank position, shoulders in line with the wrists, and then right away, bring your knees down to the ground, gently lower yourself down onto your belly. Once you found your way down, bend both knees, swish your heels a little side to side. Awesome. One more little swish of the heels side to side, and then relax your toes down to the ground. Hands alongside your shoulders, elbows in at your ribs. One low cobra to start. Inhale, gently lift your heart up. Exhale to lower down. We're going to slide the hands back a little bit. So maybe your fingertips are in line with your armpits. Inhale and lift your heart a little higher. Exhale, lower down. Slide your hands back a little bit more. So now maybe your hands are in line with your ribs. Press into the floor, lift your heart up nice and high. And then if you can, stay in that lifted position, turn your head to the right. Bring your head back to center, turn your head to the left. Bring your head back to center, lower yourself down with control. Push your way up into a tabletop position. Take a cat-cow here. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your chest, lift your tail. Exhale to round your back. Inhale to a neutral spine, curl your toes under, exhale up to down dog. Right leg is going to come up nice and high into a three-legged dog position. And then we're going to step the right foot up to the top right corner of your mat. So to the outside of your pinky finger, a nice wide lunge. And then if you like, bring that back knee down and let your back toes go. Beautiful. And then from here, just take a little rock of your hips side to side, tune in. Be mindful of that knee that's down on the ground. If that rocking back and forth doesn't feel good, leave that part off. One more little rock of the hips side to side, and then left hand is going to stay down on the ground. If it feels good to do so, your right hand is going to find the inside of your right knee. You're going to push your right knee open slightly, draw your right shoulder back. So there's a little twist or rotation in the torso, and then maybe you look over your right shoulder. Beautiful. Take one more breath. Nice. And then when you're ready, release, unwind, hand finds the ground, curl the back toes under, pick your back knee up, step that front leg back to three-legged dog. So if you can, shoot it up nice and high to the sky, and then release it down with control. And we're going to take that all to the other side. So left leg is going to come up nice and high. When you're ready, step that foot up to the top left corner of your mat. So to the outside of your pinky finger. Beautiful. And then if it feels good to do so, bring that back knee down and let your back toes go. Nice. And then whichever variation you're in, if it feels good to rock your hips a little side to side, find a little bit of movement. Wonderful. And then when you're ready, right hand's going to stay on the ground, left hand to that left knee. If it feels good, push your knee open, draw the left shoulder back and look over your shoulder. Beautiful. When you're ready, release. Hand finds the ground, curl the back toes under, pick the back knee up. Left leg is going to step back into that three-legged dog position, and then release it with control into your downward facing dog. Nice. Look forward, walk your feet up to meet your hands, come to a forward fold at the top of your mat. Inhale to a half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, bend your knees a lot, pull your abdominal muscles in, roll up to a standing position, take your time. Roll your shoulders around, down and back. Inhale, reach up, grab that beach ball above your head. Exhale, sink into a little chair. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, cactus your arms, open your chest. Inhale, nice big reach up and overhead. As you exhale, fold everything down. Knees bent or straight, totally up to you. Inhale to a half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, stepping the right leg back, warrior one. Drop the back heel down, turn the toes out, hips stay facing forward, raise your arms up. Beautiful. Into that little reverse warrior. So drop the back hand down, reach the left hand up, look to the sky. And then spin those hands out in front of the chest, interlace the fingers, find that temple mudra, pointers forward, shift your weight into that standing leg, pick the back leg up if it feels available, and then maybe go just a little further with that warrior three this time if you've got the balance. Shifting your heart forward, reaching long through the arms, focus your gaze. Take one more breath. Beautiful. And then if you can, step that foot back to the back end of your mat, floating through a little bit of a lunge. Float your hands down to the ground, plant your palms, step back to a plank. Lower your knees, lower with control onto your belly. Inhale up to a cobra just as high as you like. Exhale to lower down, either push your way up to a plank or tabletop, and then find your way up to downward facing dog. Look forward, walk, step, or hop your feet up to the top of your mat into forward fold. Inhale to half forward fold. Exhale to soften down. Press firm into your feet. Inhale, sweep your arms up and overhead. Hands to heart center. Hands down at your sides. Inhale, arms up and look up. Exhale and fold. Inhale to half forward fold. Exhale and soften down. Left leg back. We're going to find that warrior one to the other side. Drop the heel down, toes turn out, hips stay facing forward. Inhale and lift your arms up. Beautiful. Reverse that warrior. Left hand touches down, right hand reaches up. Nice. And then spin those hands around in front of the chest, finding that interlace the fingers, pointers forward. Shift your weight into your standing leg. Lift that back leg up if it feels good to do so. And then maybe go just a little bit further, hinging from your waist, reaching through the fingers. Focus your gaze. Beautiful. And then if you can, step that foot to the back of your mat. Spin your hands down to the ground, finding a lunge position, plant your palms, step back to a plank. Awesome. Release your knees, lower with control onto your belly. Inhale up to a cobra just as high as you like. Exhale to lower down, either push your way up to a tabletop or through a plank, and then find your way up to downward facing dog. Nice. Look forward, walk your feet up to meet your hands, come to forward fold at the top of your mat. Beautiful. From here, we're going to toe heel our feet to the outer edges of our mat, so a nice wide position with the feet. And then we're just going to start to find a little bit of a rocking side to side. We're going to start to find our way down to the ground, seated on our butt. So come down in any way you like. If you want to pause in that nice big squat, take a second there just to find a little space in the hips. But if it feels good to do so, set your butt down right away. Bring your feet forward, curl your tailbone under, take your TheraBand or your yoga strap with you, and come all the way down to the ground. Nice. And then once you found your way down, just give a second, get yourself situated, get comfortable. We're going to take hold of the right foot. So if you've got your TheraBand or your yoga strap, you're going to catch hold of the bottom of the right foot. And then we're going to really get a nice good handhold. So we're going to walk our hands as close to the foot as we can so we get a good amount of tension on the TheraBand or the yoga strap. Keep a nice bend in that right knee so we're not getting yanked against the backs of the legs. We're going to push the heel down towards the ground, activating the muscles in the back of the thighs. So see if you can feel the muscles in your hamstrings getting activated here as you push your heel down towards the earth. Take a nice big inhale. And then as you exhale, soften the back of your leg. Let your arms pull the leg in just a little bit. Beautiful. And then do that again. Push your heel actively down towards the ground. Take a nice big inhale. Exhale, soften the back of the leg and pull it in. Nice. One more time, just like that. Push your heel down towards the ground. Inhale, a nice big breath. Exhale, soften, pull the leg in. Wonderful. And then bring your leg into a more neutral position. Just make sure you're maintaining that nice soft bend in the knee, taking both ends of your strap in your right hand. So same hand, same foot. We're going to take a little swing of the leg in and out. Keep a micro bend in the knee. Make sure it feels comfortable. Awesome. One more little swing in and out with a little bit of looseness in the hip, and then take that leg out to the right just as far as feels good. Take it out super wide or in a little bit. You'll find the variation that feels the best to you. You can externally rotate the toe slightly, so you might find your toe touching the floor. And then if it feels really great to do so, extend your left leg down towards the end of your mat. Awesome. And then with a little tug on the ends of your band, you're going to lift that leg back to center and then switch hands hold. So you're going to take hold of both ends with your left hand. Right arm is going to come out like a little bit of a kickstand, and you're going to bring the leg slightly across the body. So think a 45-degree angle, and then just tune in and notice. Can you feel a little sensation in the outside of the thigh, your IT band, maybe down into your glute? Take a nice big breath. Awesome. And then bring that leg back up to center. Slide your left leg in if it's extended long, and then into a figure four shape. So right leg is going to come across the left. Pause for a moment with your left foot on the ground. See how that feels. If it feels great, you're going to take your TheraBand off your foot, lift your left leg up, thread your hands through, grab the back of the thigh or the top of the shin. Take one more breath here. Nice. And then just keeping that figure four shape for a second. If it feels good to do so, you're going to take your figure four, draw it in circles, go in one direction. And then draw your figure four in circles, go the other way. Wonderful. And then when you're ready, release your hold from the back of your left thigh, step your foot down, and then we're going to set ourselves up to the other side. So grab your strap or your TheraBand. We're going to catch hold of the left foot. Keep a nice close grab so that we're getting as much tension out of our TheraBand as we can. A nice micro bend in the left knee. And then we're going to push your heel down towards the floor so the back of your leg is active. Take a nice big breath. And then as you exhale, soften the back of your leg, let your arms gently pull the leg in. Nice, and then release. Push your heel down towards the floor, get active in the back of your leg, take a nice big breath. Exhale, soften and pull the leg in. One more time, just like that. Push your heel down towards the ground, take a nice big inhale. Exhale and soften and draw the leg in. Wonderful. And then bring your leg into a more neutral position. Take hold of both ends of your strap with your left hand. So same hand, same foot. And then we're just going to take a little rock of that leg side to side. Nice. And then if it feels good to do so, you're going to take your leg out to the left, just as wide as it likes to go. You can turn the toe out a little bit, so you'll find a little external rotation might get you a little deeper into that side. And then if it feels great and you want that little bit more sensation, you can slide your right leg down to the end of your mat. Cool. When you're ready, put a little tension on that strap, gently pulling the leg back to center and switching your handhold. So grabbing both ends with your right hand, we're going to bring the leg slightly across the body. So think about a 45-degree, just to the point where you feel sensation in the IT band, down into the glute, or maybe you might notice a little sensation in the back of the knee. We want to make sure it's a good sensation, feels nice, and a little bit of stretch, but you can breathe comfortably in it. Awesome. And then when you're ready, bring that leg back in, slide your right leg in. We're going to take that left foot into a figure four. So bring it across the right, take your TheraBand or your strap off, and then pause for a moment and notice. You might already be there. This might be enough work. If this feels great, but you want more, pick your right leg up. Maybe you thread your hands through, grab the back of the thigh and hug it in. If it feels good to do so, invite a little fluid movement in. Circle your figure four in one direction. And then circle it the other way. Great. And then from here, we're going to release our handhold from the back of the thigh. If you can, just step your left foot off the right and float both feet up towards the ceiling. So think legs up the wall, but then we're going to take it into a wide position. So let your feet drop out just as wide as feels comfortable. Allow a little heaviness to come into your ankles and your inner thighs. And then if it feels good, you're just going to let your hands rest on your inner thighs. So we're not trying to push the legs down or go against our natural position of our bodies, but just allowing that little bit of weight from your hands to rest on your inner thighs. Take a nice deep breath in. Nice slow breath out. One more breath. And then releasing your handhold from the inner thighs, grab the backs of your outside of your thighs, help your legs come together, bend your knees, pull them into your chest, give yourself a light little squeeze. And then we're going to come back to that big rocking side to side. So if you had the range of motion and you had a clear space, come back to that nice big roll side to side. Beautiful. Take one more roll side to side or even yourself out. And then as you come back to center, you're going to release your feet back into constructive rest. So feet are going to come to the outer edges of the mat. Knees are going to drop in towards each other. We're going to take our arms right back into those I Dream of Jeannie arms and start to pull the elbows gently across the midline of the body. Once that becomes an automatic movement, tune in and notice. Are you holding tension in your toes or your feet? Can you let your feet soften? Can you notice that little bit of warmth in the space between your knees? Can you notice the solidness of the floor underneath your feet and underneath your back? When you feel good and ready, float your arms into cactus or goalpost position. So elbows bent, arms in a 90-degree angle, palms facing up, and then come back to the turning of your head, just dropping your head gently side to side. Cool, and then bring your head to center, pause for a moment, and then ask yourself, where would be your best Shavasana? Would it feel good to stay in constructive rest, maybe rearranging your arms? Would it feel good to come into a more traditional shape and walk your feet nice and long? Or any other variation of the body that feels good to you. If you are taking if you're taking it into reclined cobbler's pose, with the soles of the feet together so that you can come into full relaxation. I'm going to recommend that you tuck some blocks or pillows underneath the outer edges of your thighs, just so that you're not pulling too much against the SI and unsettling things that we've worked hard on. So if you like, find your comfortable position and then give a second to let your body soften. Start to bring your awareness back into your body. Gently wake up your fingers, wake up your toes. Invite some nice, generous movement into your hands, your feet, your wrists, your ankles. And then if it feels good to do so, invite some bigger movement. Maybe you rock your knees in and out. Maybe you find a little bit of movement in your legs. And then if it feels really great to do so, take a big good morning stretch like a yawn. Stretch your arms up and overhead, reach through your fingers and your toes. And then from here, we're going to roll into a fetal position. So you're going to slowly roll yourself onto one side, whichever side you like best, totally up to you. But pause for a moment in that fetal position, and the top hand is just going to touch down to the ground. And you're going to gently push into your fingers and into your palms and just get that sense of solidness of the ground underneath your hand. Take a nice big breath there. Cool. And then when you're ready, slowly and mindfully start to find your way up to a comfortable seated position. You can push into that top hand and help your way up. And then any seat that feels good to you, Sukhasana with legs crossed or any other position of the body that just allows you to sit up in a nice tall seat. And then once you found your way into a nice comfortable position, we're going to clap our hands together, fire up the palms, get them nice and good and hot. And then once you feel like your palms are nice and good and hot, we're going to either cup them around the ankles or the tops of the feet, whichever hand hold feels better to you. But just find a hand hold, close your eyes, take a nice deep breath. Bring your hands back together, fire up those palms, get them nice and good and hot. Once your hands feel good and hot, we're going to cup them around the knees. So find a nice, generous hand hold, take a nice big breath in. Nice, slow breath out. Awesome. Clap those hands back together. Fire up those palms, get them nice and good and hot. From here, we're going to find a handhold on our hip bone. So at any place that you can place your hands, finding those hips, close your eyes, take a nice deep breath in. Nice slow breath out. Beautiful. Clap those hands together, fire up those palms. And this time we're going to give ourselves a little hug. So once you feel like your hands are nice and good and hot, wrap your hands around, catch hold of your shoulders, let your shoulders soften down, close your eyes, take a nice deep breath in. Nice slow breath out. Awesome. And then releasing your hug, just let your hands stack right on top of your heart. Eyes closed or just soften your gaze. Breathing in love and gratitude for yourself, for your mind, for your body, and the time that you take to take care of yourself. Take another nice, generous inhale. And as you exhale, think about letting your shoulders soften, releasing and letting go of anything you're holding on to that won't serve you through the rest of your day. And gently lift up through the top of your head, gently open your eyes. I bow to you. Happy Tuesday.